Hi everyone, welcome. So I'll be walking through an Hedera Agent Kit example I created. So Hedera Agent Kit is more or less a repository that makes development on Hedera using AI much smoother. Right, so you can come to this repository here to find the main Hedera Agent Kit, and then you find some examples here. So if you want to use Hedera you want to develop an AI agent that can interact with the Hedera ecosystem, they've already created pre-made tools that basically do that, and they're already working out of the box. Then you can just edit it to match and meet your needs. So I'm going to be walking through an agent example I created, right? So this agent example uses a full stack Next.js and Express. Um, and so the is more or less like I took inspiration from this to create this. So this contains like a front end which is Next.js, which is just like a chat interface that you can connect your Hedera developer wallet to, and then the backend that handles the AI stuff, and then integration with LangChain. And then it uses memory. It uses a memory map for memory management. So if you're in a production environment, you probably want to use a database like Redis or something. So let me just walk through the backend. So the backend is very simple. Express app. This is the entry point of the server. The server listings basically on whatever ports you decide in your. So this is the server configuration that is required. So you can decide to set your ports. If you don't set the port, it will by default set it on 3001. So you might not need to worry about that. So then the Groq API configuration, you have to get your Groq API key because this backend uses Groq. And then we have the routes. So in the server, we basically brought the routes in here. So these are the Express.js routes. So there's a route to chat with the agents. There's a route to clear all the session memory in the server's map. But note that if you're using the map, so I've mentioned previously that we're using a map to store the memory. So if you notice here, you see that is a map. So tool agent's memory is in map that we're using to store the memory. So um in the controller here, during the route, you see that there are basically endpoints to clear out the messages. So if you want to clear out the messages that yeah you chat when you are talking with your agents, right? You can just clear out all the chats. Um I think that's basically it. And then the controller basically contains the functions that carry out everything. Then the chat with tool agents, it integrates with chat Groq. That's a library from LangChain Groq for you to hook up LangChain and then Groq API together. So you probably want to use Groq because it's free, and then it's a good alternative to the OpenAI API, which you have to pay for. So if you don't want to pay for it, and if you don't want to go for a paid plan, this is a good option. And then we have the Hedera LangChain toolkit. Allows you to just connect your LLM to Hedera's toolbox. So the Hedera toolbox has like a set of tools that developers are constantly working on improving, right? So these are the current tools that the Hedera toolkit supports. The HTS, the token service, the HTS token service, account tools, transfer expert, consensus service tools, query tools, and then you'll notice that I try to tell the AI through this prompt that these are the available tools. So the AI does not hallucinate. and then it gives more accurate answers. So this I set the mode as autonomous, but you can always change the mode. There are a couple of other modes that you can use, like return bytes. So return bytes is when you want a human in the loop to come in and sign the transaction. You can learn more about that in the main code example repository. So, but this is autonomous, meaning that you just tell the AI agent what to do. You give it your details, and then the AI agent just goes on to do it. And then the other method that basically just deletes the message from the map. So that is the back end, and then the front end, we have basically a regular Next.js project. We have our libraries that connects with our API to make API calls. We have our page.csx that's as this Hedera agent chart, right? So that's basically the entire data, the layout page. This is the Hedera agent chart component that contains all the code. So enough of talk. Let's just see how we can walk through this, right? So um I have my backend set up already, so I can just say cd into the Express backend. In our Express backend is intended to just start the dev server, so the pods can be running. Do note that you must have added all this, especially your Groq API configuration for this to work. So if you've added that, then you are good to go. So I've added that in my .env file. Okay. Um, okay, so it's npm run dev, not npm run start. So this would spin up the Express.js server, and then the Next.js front end. Let me just create a new terminal for that, and then cd into Next.js front end, and then I can just say npm run dev. So this will start the Next.js server. So waiting for this to start up. Okay, so you can ignore these messages, and then I'll go to localhost 3000. Okay, so the Hedera Agent Kit backend is already running. Okay, so this is the Hedera Agent Kit. So let me just go ahead and insert my details. So you can simply get your details from the Hedera Agent portal. I'll just insert my details, and then you can just click connect to Hedera, and then it welcomes you, and then you can immediately start chatting with Hedera and say, okay, so it's going to call the API, and then it will create the token successfully, and then it's 1000 supply. So that is it for this integration. The link to this particular integration will be below the video. So thank you for watching. Bye.